Welcome back. 2024 Mid-Atlantic Major League Paintball going down in Atlantic City. I'm Matty Marshall, blessed to have Ryan Gray, coach of AC Diesel, to help me call this next set. And this should be a good one here, as Aftershock warmed up in a win against Notorious, and MLKings looked pretty tight against Damage. They did lose, but it was a very close one-point game. And then also in this set, Ironmen and New York Xtreme, they desperately need to win already because both of them dropped their first matches. So jumping into this first point here, Chicago Aftershock going to be in the blue. They are on the red side to start out with, and MLKings in the white. They're on the blue side. And it looks like MLKings, Ryan, taking a little bit of ground on that D side early, getting into D2 right away.
Yeah, 5-on-5 break again. We're now getting into the sets where both teams have played a match, right? So both teams have had an opportunity to kind of tinker around with a few things, make some adjustments to their game plans. And we're seeing a 5-on-5 breakout, right? This is where I think, again, you're going to start to see the field's going to slow down a little bit. You're going to see more traditional professional paintball than we saw in that first round.
I definitely agree, Ryan. So, and a 5-on-5 break. We haven't seen a ton of those, but both teams at full strength. A little bit better field position here for the MLKings as they have a body at that crucial 50-yard line here on the snake side. Running referee going in to check out, I think, Kyle Berry, and if he's hit, probably going to be a penalty. Yeah, minor penalty assessed on Kyle Berry. Pulls out his back center player. You see Kyle looking at the ref like, where am I hit, man? Where's this hit? But
that gap going out to that Mayan that he's going to is treacherous.
It really is. There's a lot of treacherous gaps on this specific layout. But now a double dose of Chicago Aftershock players attacking here on the snake side with those two bodies coming off in front of them. But Thomas Kim not able to trade out with Donaldson. But then Hosky was right there to start cleaning things up. And it looks like Hosky... Did he get two? No, it was nice protection from A-Rod, and then Hosky gets the crossfield kill. So a little two-pack here for Hosky. But Shock getting a little bit of a gift of a penalty. Yesterday, we didn't, I know the tournament was decided by 2 penalties in the finals, but it wasn't really a penalty-ridden day yesterday. It started to get a little bad in a couple games, but today they're a little bit more quicker on the flags, and then in a couple games they were quick. The reason why I'm bringing this up is that you have to read the trends and play accordingly.
Totally.
So, I use a baseball metaphor for this because I feel it's a really good one, or accurate, is that if they're calling an outside strike, guess what you have to swing at?
Right.
You have to swing at that outside strike. If it's an inch off the plate, but he's still calling it a strike, and you just refuse to swing at that pitch, well, you're probably going to strike out a bunch. So if you are playing on the edge of the gray area, as we call it here, and the refs are throwing lots of penalties, or they're getting a little happy with the flags, well, you have to play accordingly.
I watched those penalties yesterday. They were right. They were right.
I don't disagree.
Yeah.
But just one of those things. Because, sometimes you go to a tournament, as we jump into point number 1 here with the Ironmen and New York Xtreme, sometimes you go to a tournament and the refs are letting it play out a little bit, It's and then sometimes it's a little more strict.
I think
that's
also
fine, as long as it's consistent.
I think also at the beginning of the tournaments, they like to really set the tone.
Hey, they got to control the action, man.
Right.
You can't let these guys get away with murder out there. So body coming off right now. 2 bodies come off for New York Xtreme. So this was the problem for New York Xtreme in their first match. They're losing too many bodies on the break.
Well, 2 bodies have come off for Ironman, so I believe we're in a 3-on-3.
Well,
yeah.
And throw the pod trick here for the Ironman, but no one there to get baited into it. And because there's a body in the middle. Look at this, though, right here on the screen. You see New York Xtreme with the risk off the break, sending George McLean on a mission to get onto the Ironman side and just chill in that spot and wait for somebody to get in that gap. No one's made the move quite yet.
He is in a great spot,
Yes.
too. Once he realizes where all the bodies are, he is going to go.
Well, New York Xtreme, they only lost that one body because George McLean did this move, so I thought for a second they lost 2. But they're in a high body moment right now. So if McLean, if the Ironman not knowing he's there, and he's also not touching the bunker, he's not moving it around, he's being very quiet in there. I also get a body out wide on the D side as well, too, for New York Xtreme with Josh Taylor. Good to see him back in the mix after breaking his hand at the first event.
Yeah, I'm a big Josh Taylor fan. Have been for a long time. Big fan.
Yeah, he's a great writer, too. Check out the Great American Paintball book. He wrote the best article in that thing.
I subscribed the day I saw it. The day I saw it come out. And I'm also like, I'm going to support it no matter what, right? Because somebody's taking a risk. They're doing something cool for paintball.
Yeah, so
I loved his article.
Oh, it was beautiful.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll get Josh up here at some point this weekend.
And the perspective in which he wrote it from was great.
Second person.
Yes.
Yeah, so Ironman going to crawl Henry Sense up into Snake 1. They know he's there. They know he's there now. McLean has to tuck in. Doesn't have to worry about moving that bunker anymore. He just needs to live.
And here's where Josh Taylor's going to have some opportunity. If George McLean would have gone earlier, before Henry got set up, he would have annihilated whoever's in the middle wedge there.
He's checking him out. He's clean, but everyone knows he's there now. So the element of surprise is gone. McLean is just totally committed and has to be to the side. So they got to make sure that they protect him. Pat Kraft's talking it up with, I think that's Hennessy, or no, Carl, right next to him. So it's Carl, Jerry Carl. So good comms between Pat Kraft Jr. and Jerry Carl. One of those conversations needs to be, hey, who's watching George? Because somebody needs to watch George.
Yeah, really right now, Jerry has the ball.
So Henry Sense intelligently figures out how to get that kill on McLean. Carl then launches up into that center structure as well, but then retreats and goes right into the brick. Got to be careful not to hit this bunker because they don't know he's there. But he might commit thinking there's a body in there to wrap around. But if there was a body in there, George would have shot it. So he should know that there's no one in there right now. Unless it was just filled. But he does not commit. So smart, very proactive right now for Jerry Carl. Let's see what he's going to do now. He's back at the wedge. Sense still posted up. Now Sense is going to look inside. Brody is at that, Brody Lewis, new pickup for the Ironmen. He's inside of Henry Sense at that wedge. Sense is going to crawl back. See, and here comes the launch as Jerry Carl's going to come through. As Zach Geiger had died, Jerry Carl might have just got himself a 3-pack, and he does it clean, and that is on the list. We give away $500 courtesy of Pate Smith Law. That's probably the best individual move I've seen out here so far this morning.
And that's the move I was talking about earlier when I said, hey, Jerry has the ball here. If he would have done that when McLean was still alive, right, on the outside edge, though, like crawl down the beams on the outside edge and do the same move, two things are going to happen. One, he's going to open up opportunity for George McLean to shoot some loaders, and he may get one or two. But you're up on bodies. Take your one.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the thing, especially with that middle, is that middle is scary. It's a crazy middle. The sides are more potent. But as I was walking it yesterday and seeing it played a little bit, maybe a finishing position too. You know,
Totally.
when you get guys locked up and all that pressure goes out wide, everyone's looking in front of them. They're worried about maybe there's a guy being a 50 brick. That you could come through the middle and do kind of what Jerry Carl just did.
Yeah, because on this layout, the dance party is on the edges.
For sure.
Right? That's where the dance party is going to happen.
You got to get out wide, outside contained. It's hard to get out there, but kind of have to.
Yeah,
Gotta
to
take
use
that risk.
Brandon Short loves to say the party's on the edges.
Yeah, so 5 alive right now for Shock as MLKings losing a body. So 5-on-4 situation here.
5-on-3.
Ooh, looking really good right now for Shock. And they're going to get into this crucial brick.
What a pickup of Ryan Hosky. He's just been getting better and better. He made a couple mistakes yesterday, but they're mistakes he's supposed to make.
And also, that's how you learn, right?
Totally.
You know,
and if you go in to play against Malloy in the Snake, if you're not confident, he's just going to chew you up.
Absolutely. You have to feel like you are God's gift to paintball while you're playing the game. But when you get in the pits, try to take the constructive criticism and get better from it. So, and he hasn't really had too many bad deaths today. We've seen Clay Hughes a bit, but so that's kind of Todd's situation here as we're watching Shock now trying to use this high body situation to put their second point on the board. Here comes A-Rod cutting through the middle. But Todd's looking for somebody to step up and be his go-to snake guy. Because if you don't have a go-to snake guy, you're not going to win paintball tournaments.
I think he's found it with Ryan. I mean, with Trent being hurt, Trent Nitta jacked up his ACL, I believe, yesterday. So we won't see any of him this weekend. But I think he's found it in Ryan. You know, I got an opportunity to coach Ryan in Europe last year. He's a soldier. He'll do whatever. He'll go every point. He's can be a bully if you need him to be. He's not Mike Urena bully, but he's
good enough as a bully.
Yeah.
So now Shock is repositioned, taking a couple different more forward spots as A-Rod is laying down, staying alive in that middle. Hosky at the brick, and a couple moves on that D side, D2, and the Aztec, and then out in Snake 1. Still looking at these 3 MLKings bodies, but there's no one on that D side for the MLKings.
I love Shock's setup here.
Yeah, they've repositioned into the perfect spots to really try to make the most of this, and they're gonna edge out Donaldson as Donaldson tried to get up to do something with A-Rod. So now it's a 2-on-5. Maybe we see another perfect point here, Ryan.
I think it's 2-on-4.
Oh, who dropped for Shock?
The first guy out on the Dorito side.
Oh, okay. Well, not a perfect point, but still a beautiful one.
Really good. Very controlled.
So Shock in control of this match.
Yeah, I was talking to Todd Adamson 2 weeks ago, and he was like, you know, there were people said we wouldn't even make a Sunday, and I said, who said
that?
like, What is the crazy person who made that comment?
Yeah. What a bad take. Whoever said that.
I was like, not only will you guys make Sunday, but you guys just keep getting better and better. You're gonna contend for events. You'll be in a position to have opportunity to win tournaments.
Yeah, well, it's an interesting story with Shock from a historical perspective and currently right now, because this led as this time, people just running some clock off now. So we'll see if Shock's going to hit that buzzer or let MLKings burn a little more clock off. But, so Shock's one of the most legendary teams ever. But then the franchise died.
Yeah.
Once they got relegated, decided to not have a team anymore, and that seemed like it was going to be it, but not according to Todd Adamson. So, played on that team for years, coming out of Florida, getting picked up by Shock, and really helped them win a lot of World Cups. And so Todd brought it back. But then when and I had long conversations with him about personnel and who he could get and who's available, but from coaching perspective, but he decided to grab the bulk of that miraculous Ironmen roster right before COVID hit when they won in Vegas. And these guys decided that they wanted to kind of get the boys back together and brought some guys brought Thomas came out of retirement, A-Rod out of retirement, got Corey Hall and LJ Parrish off of teams that they were now kind of stars on.
Yeah.
So those guys had to make hard decisions, and then the next part of the equation is, okay, who's going to be our snake guy? Now they got Hosky. They also got Clay Hughes from the Ironmen. So it's just, fascinating story. But yeah, who in their right mind said they weren't going to make a Sunday out of 5 events?
I asked that question when he said it, and he was like, several people. And I was like, well, give me one.
Who?
I want to know who I don't talk to anymore.
Internet trolls?
Yeah.
Their opinion doesn't count.
I was like, anybody in the know knew what was going to happen there. Like, would it take you an event or two to get it together? Sure. Do we have another 5-on-5? Yeah, again, so both of these teams have played an event or played a match already today, so have some of the shots kind of figured out. I know there was the Shock players, the Ironman player in the Dorito corner there did get a bouncer going out to that corner off the break.
Yeah, so New York Xtreme with 5 alive in a high body moment right now here against the Ironmen, and this is what they need. New York Xtreme needs a win. Ironmen do too, but New York Xtreme dropped by quite a bit of points. I think it was a 5-point spread.
7-2, I believe.
Which, if you win your next 3 games,
doesn't matter.
Who cares?
Yeah.
So now Jerry Carl in a real good spot, ripping that crossfield lane. A brutal attacker for New York Xtreme. When he's on, New York Xtreme could be very hard to beat. So he's going to commit, go past the 50-yard line, and did he get shot over the top? I thought I saw something break over from us to come off the bunker. But Jerry's got to live by his gun. He's got to tuck in, taking a lot of pressure as Xtreme had lost CJ Cantor. So somebody's got to help out Jerry Carl because he is very exposed. He could lay down and stay alive from that D3 position. Oh, did Jerry Carl get that crossfield shot? He did. He shot Kyle Nicolau. And then it looks like Geiger's going to get shot out of Snake 1. Jerry Carl going to try to run through as the towel is thrown in. So New York Xtreme taking a 2-point lead here against the Ironmen.
We were just talking about this. Like, if New York Xtreme gets it together, they're good.
Well, you had brought that up.
Yeah, they're good.
And I agreed with you.
Yes, you did.
But good call, Ryan.
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah, we had talked a little because Rich was up here for the last set. There's one of my co-hosts here, Rich Telford, talking to Jerry. But that's the thing. The story with New York Xtreme, they were a top team last year. Yeah, they lost Corey Hall, but they picked up Thomas Taylor. But they were really beat up in the beginning of the year. Yeah. They had a lot of guys with injuries. Very, very difficult for them to even have their core guys even practice. So, now that they're getting they're still at like 80%, so still dealing with some of that. But
yeah, but an 80% NYX is still good. They're good.
Oh, for sure. So now jumping in this next one here, Shock with a 2-point lead. Looks like they're going to go with Hughes this time as the attacker on the Snake side, see if he gets a good spin. But Parrish has been relentless on that D side here for Aftershock as he's already into D2. Battle going down in the Snake, though, here on your screen.
Tom Martinez has done a great job here creating balance. He kind of lets off a little bit on the gas on the Dorito side and then punches it up, and they get far, which relieves a little bit of pressure on this side of the field. And, I was just about to say, looks like the MLKings have dropped a body, so you have a 5-on-4 situation. Shock in much better field position. Kyle Berry moving into Snake 1, that's going to help a lot.
Yeah, so into Snake 1, and also the battle here in the Snake, right on the other side of each other. Cardinal Donaldson and Clay. Oh, but Clay Hughes just ripped Clay Hughes. Is that a bounce shot?
It was.
Clay was tucked completely in, so we got to figure out where that bounce shot came off of. Because that was I mean, he caught a couple in there on that bounce shot. He was tucked in as much as he could. Because he's going to go back in and say, I just got shot on a bounce shot. Todd's going to be like, are you sure? Was that really a bounce shot, or did you just lose a gunfight? I don't think he did.
Yeah, it looks like you could shoot right off that center Hertz bunker, and it goes right into the other Hertz bunker from the Dorito 1.
Figuring out the bounce shots are crucial. There's always a couple out there that work. Sometimes you got to shoot 200 paintballs at it.
I was going to say, on the Texas layout that we played yesterday, there were a lot. And, of course, you give us 6 weeks, you're going to find them all.
For sure. MLKings now with that bounce shot kill on Clay Hughes. Have Carter Donaldson all by himself. And Nick Sloviak with a nice fill out into D1. Oh, as they lose Parrish. Who just shot Parrish? So a couple deaths out of their spots here for Shock has put them at a deficit. It was a 5-on-4. Now it's going to be a 3-on-4 in favor of the MLKings.
It had to be Jackson Blue. Who shot LJ Paris? Oh, and now Kyle Berry taking the walk out of the Snake 1.
So deaths out of bunkers costing both these teams to even up the count, which could elongate this point a little bit here, Ryan.
Yes, I was just talking to Sam Monville right before we jumped back in, and you know, I said, hey, I think this thing's going to slow down like crazy, and he said, well, I don't think so. And I was like, man, when it gets to a 3-on-3, it's going to slow down.
Yeah, I agree. And when we first looked, oh God, another body coming off right now is feasting over there on the D side. MLKings getting it done. They're all the way onto Shock side of the field. They shot out Nick Sloviak as well too, and then they're going to take out Alfred Hernandez out of that back center. So the MLKings is going to get on the board. And this is kind of similar to what we saw with Damage, though. I mean, Damage ended up getting that win, but man, the MLKings hung in there with their big brother essentially.
I thought MLKings looked good in that match.
I agree. I agree. They had offense, not too many not too many mistakes. They were pushing the issue. Damage was just a little bit better. Damage learned the field quicker and executed more in a more proper way than MLKings did, but it just wasn't that big of a loss. So no one can sleep on the MLKings here.
Is there a team out here that you can really sleep on anymore?
Not really.
Yeah.
I gotta say it, but
yeah, they're all.
But it's not that it's not you. You're right. There is no team you can sleep on, but we know how this goes.
Sure.
Because if you're Damage and you're playing the MLKings, who over the past 4 years, I mean, how many times have they played each other in Florida where they're getting the better of them? So, you know, when there's no cameras on and they're sitting in the rooms with each other, like, we're going to smash these dudes. We smash them every time in practice. You know?
Right.
So you just, that's what I'm kind of talking about here.
Yeah, that line between confidence and hubris, right?
Yes.
And another 5-on-5 break.
Seeing a decent more of those now as everyone's kind of finding the routes they can run safely. But definitely still some aggression from the Ironmen as they're pushing the issue with Cody and Zach over here, Snake side. Brody Lewis off the break into the wedge, and then Geiger on a secondary right into Snake 2. And they need it, though, because they had a lot of time, so they don't want to get too hyper-aggressive. Looks like they're going to be losing a body out of the backfield. So 4-on-5 situation, favor of New York Xtreme again. New York Xtreme, much better look here in this game against the Ironmen than they had in that first one against Impact. Better survivability. They are also learning this field. It's just, I love blind layouts, Ryan. I'm not sure your opinion on blind layouts, but to me, I feel like that's the way it should be done, because then we get to watch in real time as fans what's actually going on with these strategies and the tactics, and it's happening right in front of us.
I honestly like both. And I understand the process of what happens during those 4 or 5 days that we get it to break it down and analyze it. But I'm literally, I don't care either way. Like, we're going to play a blind layout, okay. If we're going to give us a weekend, okay. If you want to give us 2 weekends, I don't care. You know, I know, like, guys have passionate opinions one way or the other. I'm not that guy.
So still similar situation. The early death from the Ironmen, but they're still in really great spots. But New York Xtreme controls that crucial real estate here at the 50-yard line with 7:50 to go. And Xtreme has a little bit of help over here, but they're still pocketed up. They're not out wide yet. So I'd like to see Xtreme try to get through some of these gaps carefully for a New York Xtreme fan.
I think what New York Xtreme is doing is the same thing we kind of did with Diesel in Texas is, hey, let's slow down a little bit. Let's get our communication going. We've got several guys coming back from injury. Let's get some flow. We'll find the tempo as we go. They're up a couple of points here. Don't have to force anything.
Totally. I just don't want them to get stuck in the pocket, you know, for Xtreme fans.
Don't get comfy.
It's good communication from both squads. So there goes Taylor. Taylor's going to get out into D1. Nice fill. Makes it clean.
Is this George McLean who's here in the brick? He is just so focused on the middle of the field. I think he was waiting kind of on that release from the South Electronics Tower bunker to come into the middle of the field, and he can't.
Yeah, he's just totally tucked in, and he's been focusing his gun inside. But he doesn't, and so, yeah, it's not Carl, because Carl just retreated to the back center. McLean's mostly been playing D-side, but also middle, and yeah.
Saw the heroics earlier?
Yeah, he was clocked in today. He had a good look and a loss. So Carl now going to try to push up on that D side with Josh Taylor.
Oh, he tried to do the pod trick there. The Ironman player in the wedge tried to throw the pod, totally missed.
Yeah, so this is one of the longer points that we've seen out here. And now what is that, at least three pod throws. We're probably going to see a lot more. So essentially you take a full pod, you chuck it at the 50 and try to bait your opponent into falling into the trap. Joe Barrett did against Ryan Greenspan a couple years ago, and then for 3 events in a row, I must have saw it a dozen times.
It only takes one, right? Especially when we had the wall.
Yeah. Well, yes, but it did work. It worked already today.
Yeah.
Tyler Harmon from Houston Heat. So yeah, long point here, as even on the count, Ironman not wanting to risk. Ooh, but Josh Taylor getting shot out of his spot forces Jerry Carl to get out there and stay alive, and he's going to move right up into D3, but they get a shot on Tom Guest. So Tom Guest dying out of his position. Jerry Carl continuing his attack on the D side. Goes up into D3. And goes right into D4. He's not feeling any pressure.
Yeah, now's when you want George, missed his opportunity, but you kind of wanted George, I think this is George, to get heads up and start his wrap.
Geiger with the retreat back to Snake 1 to get better eyes on that D side, a little bit better angle, safer spot. Lewis is still totally focused to see if George McLean's going to commit. Got to worry about Carl now. So they switch their guns over and try to put pressure on Carl, but Carl just eating people up again. Little 2-pack here for Carl. Man, that's 5 kills for Carl in a couple points. And then battle going down on the Snake side. Geiger launches, realizing he just lost. Hey, if one side's getting blown open, then you need to push on the other side. Either you're just going to get shot in the back. Either that or you need to retreat to a more defensible position.
The other thing is don't make your coach make a decision, right? Go try to get it.
Says the coach.
Yeah, go try to get it. Then you
sure.
don't put me in a position where I'm like, are you going to sit there or are you going to go?
Yeah, it's frustrating as a coach to be in that moment where you're thinking, okay, you need to try to be proactive here or I'm going to concede. We're losing 100% of the time I concede. If you try something, at least we have a chance. So, yeah, man, like, let's try to make something happen. Carl is just feasting out there right now, though. At least 5 confirmed kills for Jerry Carl in a couple points. Beautiful job. And he was all over the place. I mean, he started in the Aztec over here.
I was going to say that. Had he not retreated back to the back center and then went out as soon as Josh Taylor gets shot, they don't win that point. If he would have stayed up in the middle of the field, they're in trouble. Great move. The other thing that I'm seeing, too, is guys like Caro at the last event weren't doing things like that. Like, they seem like they're, with their boys back, you know, the whole crew back together, they feel, it seems like they're more comfortable, they're more confident making moves because they trust the guys around them, they know them.
Yeah, let's listen in real quick. Coach Dan.
Will, you guys got to get your comms up. Will, big voice, please. You got it. Hey, they're down 3. Bring it in right here. Bring it in. Hey, they're coming, boys. 6. Hey, caution's on me. Hey, bring it in. CJ, bring it in. Josh, let's go. Bring it in. Coming.
Yes, up on the outside.
Why is Jerry taking his stuff off?
I saw that. I hope he's not sitting.
Oh, he's like completely disrobing right now.
Hopefully he's just...
Please, Jerry, this is a family show. What are you doing? So jumping in this next one here, as Chicago Aftershock, a little slight lead over the MLKings, 7:18 to go. Body dropping early for Chicago Aftershock as MLKings keep all 5 bodies alive. That body and that death for Chicago coming off the snake side.
Yeah, I was going to say Ryan got caught from the Dorito 1 there.
Yeah, good zone control from D1 to get the shot on Hosky, trying to secondary into that crucial wedge. So now there's nobody at all on the snake side. It's going to give the MLKings all the freedom over here to wrap around and really start putting pressure and try to get across into Chicago Aftershock Snake 2.
Yeah, I was going to say, if Jackson Blue recognizes what's happening over here, he should just get out here to the break, start rapping, and have some fun. Yeah, I don't think they know that they've shot 2 on this side.
Yeah, I think you're right, because the body language tells me they don't know the count.
But Kyle knows.
Yeah, okay, yeah, yes. Kyle's body language tells me he just figured it out, and he knows there's no one in front of him over here because he's just turning over the top of that.
And now Carter knows. Carter Donaldson dives into their side of the snake.
Donaldson's got this whole side to himself. Man, this is dude, the MLKings look tough at this event. I mean, it's no easy games over here. But bodies dropping, though. Looks like LJ Parrish was able to get a kill, but Donaldson waving everybody off because he's already by the buzzer. So nice job by Carter Donaldson. Great zone control, though. Off the break shot zone control, because that gave him the big advantage. They kept 5, so survivability was great, kept 5 bodies alive. Saw those bodies come off, took them a beat, but they figured it out, and then just perfect execution from Carter Donaldson and Kyle Berry over here on the snake side.
And their pool is also no joke. I mean, that's a serious one.
Yeah, MLKings down in Tier 5 with Heat, Aftershock, Damage, and Notorious. The one coming in, though, with the Notorious missing so many starters, was wondering how fierce they would be, but even though they lost 2 games today,
they look okay.
They look okay.
Yeah.
So definitely still not a team, as we say, that you can't sleep on. Really, obviously shouldn't be sleeping on anybody. But when you do hear, or it goes around like, oh, they don't have a majority of their starting 5 here.
Yeah, and it always they put their roster up and they had all those guys on there, and I was like, we all know.
Nice try.
Yeah, we all talk.
Nice try. So Xtreme with a pretty sizable lead given the time. Just 4:31 left to go. And New York Xtreme, though, dropping a body here, so the Ironmen signs of life from them as they're pushing up the field, but need to sense of urgency here for the Ironmen, as they do not have a lot of time to work with.
Love the play call from Pax. Get aggressive here, take the corners. Kind of the pocketed up, flow out wasn't really working for him. Switch it up.
Yeah, Geiger into Snake 1, and Lewis immediately here into the 50 brick. So, yeah, good crossfield spread for the LA Ironmen. New York Xtreme being 343 3-point lead. That's a pretty big lead for the time that's left out here. So the Ironmen have to start putting a guy in and making moves.
That's exactly what I was about to say. Like, the breakout was great, but then we all got to our spots and kind of we're now resting. And the intention, if you're a coach, you got 3:30 left in the game, you walk out with a 3-point deficit, that means your intention should be to win 3 points in about 1:10 each. And that's it. You got to go.
Absolutely. Yeah, you gotta play to the situation. You can't play like you just need 1, you need 3. So yeah, but you have to also keep in mind not to completely ruin your spread, because they did drop by 3 to Infamous.
Yep.
So that's one of those situations here. Oh, body coming off right now for Xtreme from the D side as Taylor dies.
Yeah, when this point's over, I'll kind of give you my opinion on that last-minute horn that towel that they did there. I didn't think that was a very good idea in the previous match with the Ironmen.
Yeah, but another body drops for the Ironmen as Tom Guest taking a walk. So the war of attrition is set in. Both teams starting to get chopped up here. New York on the defense, Ironmen on the offense. Pat Kraft into Snake 1.
Oh, what a nasty shot.
Yeah, Pat Kraft gets the shot in on Geiger. Nice little snapshot there from Pat Kraft.
Oh, look at this.
Thomas Taylor getting bunkered out by Omara. Omara pushing the issue right now, and he gets another one. Is he going to get a third? Pat Kraft actually gets chewed up by Henry Sense, so good combo, and this is why Ironman picked up Henry Sense and Stephen Omara.
Stephen Omara in the middle is just filthy.
Yeah, he's lethal up there. So the Ironman on the board. So about a little over a minute per point. Definitely possible, but
Yes, so to go back to my comment about the previous match, like if you're a coach, and there's two perspectives here. One, they might have been wanting to play a few more points because it's a blind layout, right? But you're down 1 with 40 seconds left. If you blow that horn, you're putting it on your guys to win 2 20-second points to tie the game back up, or put yourself right back in the situation that you gave away with the towel. So you lose that point by 1 if you just let the time run out, or you throw the towel, and then you have to win 1 to get what you gave away back.
yeah, managing that is probably one of the more nerve-wracking things for coaches because
For sure.
yeah, you want to have faith in your guys, but you have to play to the most, the biggest positive percentage, giving the instance. So all tied up here 2-2 as Shock crawling Hosky right up into the 50-yard line, and I think a couple bodies coming off. Yeah, 2 bodies coming off, so kind of a bomb blowing
3
off
bodies.
and 3 bodies. Yeah, it's not looking good here with 5:34 to go for the MLKings in this point, as they're going to be losing another one too. So yeah, this is a disaster of a point, and I didn't even see. Did you see a penalty?
Oh, major. There it
I was
is.
going to say I didn't see a penalty until now, and it's a major, and I don't think they're going to have enough bodies to pull. Man, the MLKings do this sometimes. If you're losing the point in a close game, and you're one of the last players left alive, please don't get a penalty, because now you're kind of not necessarily dooming us in the next point, but if there's not enough bodies to pull, you're going to be starting down. Other team will be on a power play in a close match, and typically the team with more bodies wins.
On a layout like this, whew,
Oh yeah,
starting with 3.
That's a good point.
It's different if you got a big back center. You can shoot a couple of guys, take one big risk. But when you have nothing in the back center, well, a spot that one guy can play for a very short period of time, it's bad. You're basically taking a 1-point swing and making it 2.
Yep. So we'll see how many bodies they're going to be able to start with. We're in the pits right now with Shock.
I'm going to confirm. Get ready, Corey. No, hey, have Addison.
Things are definitely going Shock's way in day 1 here. So far. Still a little bit of time in this one, but it sounded like they're starting with their opponent starting with 3. Okay, New York Xtreme though, looking so much better in this match with just 2 minutes to go. It's on the Ironmen, have to push forward. Lewis quickly gets in there to the 50-yard line, and they do shoot George McLean, and at this point in time, that's a big kill to come off New York Xtreme's line. And Jerry Carl, it looks like, so whatever Jerry was doing, taking his stuff off, he's back out there.
It's heating up out there. It's heating up. I mean, we started the day, I think, at 68 degrees. I think we're supposed to get to like 91 or 92, right? So from being a Southern boy, that's nothing. It's nothing. We're down in San Antonio 2 weeks ago, and the turf was like 160 degrees. So this is nothing. But I get it. I mean, they're from New York.
Yeah, body dropping for the Ironmen, though, from the backfield. Here comes Geiger, going to go into the snake, and Geiger goes right into a stream. So great zone control. So I think it's a 4-on-3, nope, 4-on-2. But here comes Lewis. Lewis onto New York Xtreme side. And I don't think the can knows he's there. They got to yell to
Back center
to
now,
Pat.
too.
Yeah, yell to Pat. Tell Pat that he's there. So Lewis gets brutalized a little bit. Hey, man, I like the aggression from the kid, but rest of the bodies have come off for the Ironmen. Xtreme definitely needs these points, too.
Hey, and great job for the rookie, right, to kind of understand the other sides. We're falling apart. I'm just going to go try to make something happen, and he might have been able to steal it. I think if he just stays on the ground, crawls, sticks his barrel around the
Shoots
snake
Pat.
2, or snake 1, yeah. Shoot Pat in the butt, come up, shoot everybody in the side.
Yeah,
Now, you may still lose the point because the guy running down the Dorito side, but maybe you don't.
Yeah, I talked to Shane Pistana about Brody Lewis, and he has really high hopes for this new rookie. 17 years old, first event with the squad.
He is a track star. Like, going to college on a possible track scholarship. Talked to his dad, Chris, yesterday. Just kind of congratulating him. They're so excited to be with the Ironmen, too. But that kid is stupid fast.
Yeah, that's what Shane told me. So now we need to go get Keith Brown and Alex Coleman and race them.
I will put my money on Alex 99% of the time because he is stupid fast.
Yeah, he's ridiculously fast. Well, we used to just every practice we had when I was on Excessive with Carl Markowski, we'd call out their fastest guy, and Carl was, 18 or 19 at the time, so
So
he had to
fast.
do whatever we said. So it'd be like, hey Carl, you're racing Angel for Goza, let's go, And
Yeah.
he didn't lose a race for like 5 years in a row.
Yeah, he was so fast.
Yeah.
He's still fast.
Yeah.
I watch him play. I think he's still playing with the newbies. I watch him play on the semi-pro field, and I'm like, man, you're still fast.
Yeah, it's
He's
just-
not as fast from A to Z, but he's real fast from A to B.
Yeah, he would. But it's just a blessing to have somebody like that, to have athletic missile on your team. Just amazing. But Ironmen just having a tough go of it here. Big congratulations to New York Xtreme. What a different game, man. They needed a big win here and able to put up a decent amount of points on the Ironmen. And the Ironmen are a tough game these days. So the Ironmen having a rough go of it on day one. They lose to Infamous and then now to Xtreme. So they're going to be sitting 0-2 with maybe a -6. So they're going to have a big day tomorrow. Now, it's still definitely possible. We saw Blast Camp make it to Sunday. They went 0-2 with a -5 in day one in Texas, and they're still able to punch their ticket to Sunday. So it could happen. Chicago Aftershock in a battle right now against the MLKings. MLKings dropping 2 bodies early, though.
Yeah, out of the 3 they started with.
Yeah, I was going to say.
So
Yeah, so it's
in trouble fast.
Yeah. Not conceding the point, though.
There they go.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. No Harris Hussein here. Do you know what the story is?
Haven't heard the story.
Okay.
Yeah, not sure what the deal is with that.
I'd heard right after Texas his dad had some health issues and he may be going back to Pakistan, but I haven't heard why he's not here.
So we're going to still see another point out here. A couple more probably. But since the conclusion of the Xtreme and Ironman match, we're going to have 2 minutes in between points. Back in the pits here with Shock. Let's check it out.
Loader paint, please.
You need one? You need one? So early for you for this. I'm just teasing.
Yes. So A-Rod had last weekend, I don't know if you heard this, like tanked himself in the jaw.
I heard, but I didn't hear the whole story.
Yeah,
Hear the
so
whole
he was
story?
going through the middle, kind of dove weird, got out, played the rest of the point, walked off, and jaw started feeling weird. The next morning he gets up, it's just swollen. Had a big contusion on the bottom part of his jaw. I didn't know if he was going to be able to play. I talked to him on Thursday
Right here, dude.
morning and had a quick conversation, and he was fine. So
Hey, we're close side.
he said it's still pretty sore, but as a competitor, if you ever get to play another team, you kind of like, I'm one of those guys, I want them at their best. I don't ever want to play a team and them have excuses. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, tough dude, man.
and I'm glad he's back.
You don't get to play the middle and become known as an all-star and a bully unless you're super tough.
Yeah, because the middle is brutal.
Yeah. And also, A-Rod has a very inspiring story because he was a big kid. And I remember Mikko Huhtinen, former Ironman star, and he told me when he first saw A-Rod, bigger kid, and he's like, but he was so naturally talented at the game, good tendencies, great gunfighter, and he told him, he's like, hey, man, if you lose some pounds, you're going to be phenomenal at this. So A-Rod really dedicated himself to getting in shape, and I can't remember how much weight he lost, but I think he lost like 60 pounds, 70 pounds, something crazy.
I heard it was 60 to 70.
Yeah, which isn't that's mental tenacity right there. And then after that, he became very paintball famous, and rightfully so. So, and they need him, and he's out here, again after tanking himself.
Yeah, but that's like, to me, that's those guys that play up in the, they're like your bruiser in hockey,
Yeah.
right? Like the guys who, and A-Rod's one that when he gets an opportunity to give you 15 to your back, he's going to give you 15. Like he could give you one, but he's going to give you 15 because he knows when he goes through, he's going to catch a ton.
Yeah, for
right?
sure. So it looks like we're on a little bit of a technical time out here. So Brian, AC Diesel, you guys are playing this afternoon against Aftermath at 2:45. Obviously a heartbreaker yesterday, but you guys did make a Sunday. How is the mindset and the vibe on the team right now?
Man, it's so good. Like they obviously were upset with being in a match that you feel like you should win, having an opportunity to tie that match up. Had a great play for the next one. And then to kind of throw it away and then put ourselves in a position where we got to win 2 points with a minute each and doing it, getting the first one and then going out. Like, and it fell together from a tempo perspective kind of perfectly. So we go out and play that 2 point down point, win it, right, in a minute 5, leaving ourselves 55 seconds for the next point, and just weren't able to put it together. And you're normally not, right? When you need to win 2 points in 2 minutes, it's rare that they both work, right?
Very true.
Yeah.
I think we were saying that when that was happening. It's like,
tough.
you can do it once, but can you do it 2 times in a row against a top team on
Totally.
on
And
Sunday?
taking nothing away from Revo, they played a great game. They, their tempo, or not their tempo, but the way they filled the snake was better than the way we were kind of managing it. But the vibe of the group is so good right now.
Good to hear. Good to hear for AC Diesel fans. With that all-star roster getting better. Now, here we go. 2 points bet, 5 minutes on the clock. Can the MLKings get it done? It's going to come down to the break many times, and it does look like Carter Donaldson getting shot out, so this is a big boost to Chicago Aftershock because they get Hosky into the 50 clean.
Yeah, and take 2 of the MLKings off the break. Maybe even 3. Yeah, 3 of the MLKings.
3 now.
gone.
I thought the referee was going to pull him on a penalty, and it looks like we're going to get a quick concession, so
Well, that was 4.
was that an 18-second point?
Yeah, it was fast. So yeah, that penalty earlier just kind of pulled the wind right out of MLKings' sails now. Not really able to stay alive off the break. I think we saw 2 or 3 5-on-5 breakouts there.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot more than we did this morning as everyone is really starting to figure out what are the safest routes, even going into danger. Still, there's safe ways to approach danger.
Yeah, and I'm grinning as you're saying that because those spots will only be safe for 1 match. Because then, you know what I mean? Because then we're all going to figure out how to shoot those shots.
Yeah.
Right? And then,
course.
so that's going to make everybody kind of have to shift around a little bit.
Well, that's what's interesting about the ebb and the flow of the strategy, which we, because of this blind layout, now get to watch in real time. So, I mean, it happens even when teams have had, 90 points on a layout, but we'll still come out and, in the beginning of the day, sometimes it'll be snake side, strong side. But then more pressure, more bodies will go that way, and all of a sudden a couple points, some big stand-up performances on D side. Now people start seeing that that's possible.
Right.
But then teams figure out how to shoot that. But then the snake becomes in the center. So it's the back and forth of where's the most potent place to attack. And but yes, I agree with you. That's one of the reasons. Yes, I love having you up here, but it's also great because you're doing your homework in your head right now as
Totally.
you're watching this game. Like, okay, that worked.
I literally told I was sitting over there with Mark Johnson, and I said, hey, Maddie asked me if I'd come commentate. I'm going to go get the best seat in the house to watch these games.
Definitely got the best seat in the house.
Yeah. So the other thing, and you guys mentioned it yesterday, and it's so true, right? The patch of grass we put these layouts on is different every time, right? Which changes, an inch here or there changes everything.
Yep. So on the breakout now, Shock with the 3-point lead. That disastrous last point for the MLKings. Let's see if they can stay alive. So they're going to send Donaldson this time out wide and then now up, and he's just gunning his way into Snake 2. No one putting any pressure on him. Shock
down 2. Shock down 2 bodies.
So Shock went with Hughes instead of Hosky this time, and Hughes getting shot out of that spot. And see if he got shot off the break or if he got shot in the spot. But regardless, he's coming off dead. That's really going to help out the MLKings here is they have a body that could crawl up in there. He's at the wedge, and they got Donaldson. So yeah, they're going to crawl up into that 50. And then there's Shock's line up on the D side right now with D1 and D2. It's a good outside.
Yeah, so Hosky's actually out here in Snake 1, so they kind of
played him twice.
Yeah,
they played him both
kind
at
of
the
went
same
with the
time.
double snake package there, which I love. For those of you who are going to play me later, I love it.
MLKings moving up into D2. Kyle Berry went out to help protect his front players, but he's shooting more towards that D side. But yeah, great real estate and great outside containment here from the MLKings. But Shock has it too. They just don't have as much forward progression. MLKings with a body in that middle, but again, 3 points needed in 3:25 now. So the 5-on-3 situation, MLKings need to get this win. And they need to get it in probably the next. As quick as possible. You can close out a high body situation safely. And then for Shock, it's just no one's conceding. You just have to tuck in, and the attack's going to come. Try to burn as much clock off as possible. Maybe catch some guys making mistakes, pushing the issue on the offense.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering when, and I'm hoping they're starting to have this conversation, but Carter and Jackson Blue will start to put this together on this side of the field.
Well, they get a shot in on LJ Parrish. So now just 2 bodies alive, D1 and Snake 1. They're not crossing up. Hosky's looking for a kill. He's going all the way out. Donaldson's in pretty tight, though. Oh, Donaldson popped the top, forcing Hosky to go back in. Oh, and then going to lose Nick Sloviak. So, and then Hosky gets peeled out. And a little extra bonus balls there for Hosky.
Yeah, so I think that was from his ex-teammate there, Jackson Blue, giving him a couple extra from the Killers.
I was just going to say, he's a Florida guy. It's
Right.
a Florida team. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, MLKings look great in that one.
Yeah, so 2-point spread. I mean, they closed out that 5-on-3 pretty solid.
Need a little more tempo,
Pretty
though.
quickly. I mean, could they have gone a little bit faster? Sure, but I'm not going to criticize them because they did it with leaving them. Ideally, look, as long as you get the point and we have enough time to score 2 points without having to just send it, reckless attack, staggered attack time.
But you got to just, with the understanding that we lost our first one, right? Close, but we lost our first one. If we lose this one, and this is where those conversations in the pit get really important, in these next couple of points, if we lose a couple of guys off the brakes or off the break, we have got to hit the brakes.
Yep.
Right? We got to know that we lost that first one by 1. We need to mitigate margin if we're not going to be able to. If our game plan falls apart off the break, stop. You got to stop. If you get 2 kills off the break, let's go win the point.
Yes.
We have to talk about those situations constantly.
Well, sometimes things bear repeating, and repetition is message. So, yeah.
Well, you know this. Like, as soon as the guys step onto the field and the adrenaline goes up, your body, when your adrenaline goes up, your body, just the brain is telling the blood, go to the body, right? So it pulls blood away from your brain. I read all these stupid sports psychology books 'cause I'm trying to figure out how to talk to my players better. And sometimes when they get out there, and especially a guy who's maybe getting shot at by a couple of dudes, and you can start to see him get frazzled, right? His adrenaline's gone up. He's gone into flight or fight mode.
Yeah.
His brain is not working at all.
Yeah, that mental fog kind of sets in.
Yes,
Yeah.
right, where it's like, I just have to stay alive. Or then they make that stupid mistake where they want to run out, right? Which I just call that the surrender, and then I want to punch him in the face. Like, if you're going to surrender, I'm not playing you.
So now, given the time, I mean, I'd ask you this question, but I don't know if you'd give me. I know you're an honest man, but you have a game coming up, so I don't think you want to show your hand on your quick points. But if you're Charlie, he's trying to put together the most efficient, quickest point possible while being safe because he doesn't need, if there was, I think it's like right around 2 minutes left. I mean, if he had kind of the situation you guys were in, you guys were just in this situation yesterday.
Yeah.
And when we get to these moments, we start to kind of see, because you're forced to show your cards here on what that game plan is that you think is going to be the most proficient to score the point.
On this layout, though, I think you can have 3 or 4.
I think you could.
Yeah, because there's a lot of punching opportunity. I've seen some teams trying to go, past this brick on the 50, kind of off the break and into the other team's snake. I haven't seen anybody set it up correctly yet, but I think there's some opportunity to do that. I've seen the biggest miss is if you're going to do that, you have to have a counter immediately through the middle of the field. Right? As soon as you can pull those middle guns outside, you got to have a counter.
Yeah, so 2:22 to go. MLKings, they go outside wide, D1, make it clean. Donaldson asking for a check, though. Referee going to get in there and check him out. Might have caught a bouncer. Kyle Berry is just a turret up and over the top of that. They do lose body out of D1. Donaldson's clean, so 4 bodies alive right now for the MLKings. But they didn't shoot anybody from Chicago Aftershock.
Yeah.
Oh, now they did. A-Rod coming out of that back center.
Big kill.
Yeah, so 4-on-4. And it's drives me bananas when I see teams in the MLKings situation play like they need 1, and then they'll win the point, but there'll be 20 seconds left. Not saying they're doing that right now. Oh, they're just losing bodies. So a couple deaths out of their spots.
That's what I was going to say. Guys, everybody's just getting shot out of spots at this point.
Yeah, and again, because they dropped that first game, but not by a lot. So if they go win 2 games tomorrow, they're still in this. So they can't let this spread get crazy right now. And I think that's why they're not conceding the point.
Oh, I wouldn't. Yeah.
I wouldn't either.
Yeah,
I would.
wouldn't.
I would much rather just take this 3-point loss.
And now you're kind of setting up super defensive. Like when I say defensive, I mean you want heavy guns off the break. If we get 2 kills, let's go try to win the point and narrow the margin even further. Just don't do it with enough time for them to hang the flag.
Indeed.
Right.
So right now, you see Parrish. Is he kind of limping a little bit? I mean, he's playing every single point. Hosky.
I think he's just dragging his leg. Just swagger.
Well, maybe he's doing it on purpose so the people watching right now, they're going to play him later tomorrow. Like, oh, well, maybe they won't run Parrish because he looked like he was limping. Or maybe he's just tired. He's playing every single point and is getting hot. Yeah, so Hosky's just going to let this time get down to probably about 3, 4, or 5 seconds, and then they're going to take a 3-point lead. But what a good day for Shock. You know, they beat Notorious, and beat them by, I believe, that was a 3-point spread. They're going to have 3-point spreads. They're going to go 2-0 plus 6. And good job by Hosky. Hosky getting a bunch of spins out there today. So Todd Martinez and Todd Adamson having faith in him after making some mistakes in crucial moments against Malloy and Legion in that loss. But, you know, he just got here in the Pro League, so.
And you have to give him as many opportunities. If you're trying to really develop him, you got to give him as many opportunities as possible.
For sure.
Because then he won't make those mistakes.
Yeah, and even the best players ever to do it. You know, Greenspan will still go out there and make a mistake. It doesn't happen very often, but this is paintball, man. Everyone's going to get shot. So that is going to do it here. Congratulations, New York Xtreme and Aftershock taking the victory. Next up is going to be Houston Heat. They won their first match against Notorious, and they're going to be playing Tampa Bay Damage, who took a win against the MLKings. So both those guys undefeated. San Diego Dynasty also had a win against Infamous, and they're playing Impact, who beat New York Xtreme. So all the teams playing this next set are undefeated so far here at this event. 2024 Mid-Atlantic Major here in Atlantic City. Major League Paintball. I'm Matty Marshall. Ryan, thank you so much. Best of luck this afternoon.
Thank you. Yeah, if you get an opportunity, check out the Coaches Show on Major League Paintball. You can also get at us on our social medias at the Coaches Show Live. At thecoachesshow.live or on Facebook, The Coaches Show.
Yeah, awesome look behind the scenes from two of the brightest minds in the game. The Coaches Show. So we'll be back here on Go Sports. I'm Matty Marshall. See you in just a couple minutes.